I believe that jump rope number one should be fun.
Okay.
And also too, like I jump to music. So everything that I do is rhythmic. And then also I believe that there's a lot of fundamentals that people should have before they really kind of get into jump rope. What I noticed, because I have been online for a very, very, very long time, what I noticed is that people they see the jump rope online and they see like these really cool tricks and they
Mm-hmm.
aspire to do that. But then they either don't know the proper form, they can't even hold down the basics. They're just trying too much too soon. Then they're complaining about knee pain and complaining
Yeah.
about shins and things
Yeah.
like that. But it's like if you learn, you cannot skip the fundamentals.
Right.
So each thing plays a certain part. So I have like a structure to where we go from the basics, we get some footwork, we learn different things that you're going to need to, master, crisscrosses and double unders and all of the things that you do want to learn.
Welcome to the Success Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Christian Evans. This podcast is about improving our relationship with nutrition and exercise to achieve success in our fitness journey. And our special guest today, Bernadette Henry, aka Make It Fun NYC, aka the Jump Rope Queen, which I just gave her right here, right now, will help us do just that by sharing her story of how she's helping people worldwide reach their fitness goals by teaching them how to implement jump roping into their fitness routine. Without further ado, Success Fitness family, please welcome Bernadette Henry to the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And you are where currently?
I am in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, 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 stand up, Brooklyn, stand up. I don't want to yell into the mic, but every time, I hear Brooklyn, you just got to just yell it. You got to just yell it. I grew up on a lot of East Coast hip hop. And when you hear Brooklyn, that's what you got to yell. You know what I'm saying? We're Brooklyn at. So how's the weather out there currently right now?
It's been a little better than it's been in the last couple of days. It was like really, really cold, and now it's kind of cold, but it's warm.
I got you. I got you. So what's cold in New York? What's your definition of cold? Because I've been to New York
Cold.
once, but it was in the summer.
Cold when your toes are cold. When your toes are cold and when your
I
forehead
got
is
you.
cold.
I got
So it's
you.
like
I
New
got
Year's
you.
Eve
I
or
got
Christmas
you.
Eve.
Yeah, it's starting to warm up here in Peoria, Illinois. It's about 40, 42 degrees. And it's been in the negatives for a while. So we're, I guess, a warm front, but it's all good. It's all good. So I hope you are staying warm and I hope you had a great Christmas and a great, holiday and you know, everybody's home or kind of off of work. It's a weird time between Christmas and New Year's, right? And it's like the time to where it's like, okay, we finish celebrating with our family and probably everybody's eating what they want to eat and celebrating. No, that's cool. That's cool. But then it's like, okay, do I get started early on my fitness journey or what do I do, right now? Do I still, am I lax? Am I have to, the pedal to the metal, and what I'm saying, 80 miles an hour, or do I just put it in cruise control until, new year, new me, so it is a weird time. But you have been helping people implement jump roping into their fitness goal. I mean, to their fitness routine. I'm sorry. So tell me how you got into jump roping and helping people reach their fitness goals through jump roping. How did you get started? Are you hungry but only have 30 minutes to meal prep? Then download my new Eat Cookbook, What's a Meal Prep, at successfitnessstore.com. You will get 3 step-by-step written and visual recipes for one high-protein meal that's under 600 calories. I'll help you cook fresh salmon, steam fresh broccoli, and quinoa in under 30 minutes to help you stay on track of your fitness goals. So go to successfitnessstore.com to download your copy today.
All right. So I grew up in New York in the Bronx, between Bronx and Harlem. And on lunch breaks, we went outside, we jumped double dutch, and we had like different games, around the world, two on time. These were some short rope games as well. And at some point, I picked up a single rope and I kind of taught myself the rope. And I remember like my early memories is when I was in sixth grade, I used to go outside my house and I used to just kind of do double unders and fall on the floor, yell out the window, like, stop, stop.
Right, right, right.
But that's my early days. And then in the seventh grade, there was some random like contest of who could do the most jumps in a minute. And I did like 240. And after that, my next memories were when I was 19 years old. And me and my friend used to walk past Equinox Gym all the time. And one day I just kind of went in and I saw the schedule and it said arrow box, arrow jump. And I said, "Is this a jump rope class?" And they said, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay, cool, sign me up."
Hmm.
And that class, and I wasn't into fitness at all. Like I was just like roaming the streets with my friend.
Right.
And at that time, like I said, I was 19 years old. I was just working. I didn't really know anything about fitness. It was like the jump rope that intrigued me. So I joined the gym and I took classes with Michael Olajide Jr., who was a former middleweight boxer.
Okay.
And I basically developed my raw skills. So like learning how to size the rope, jumping for conditioning, the different things that I hadn't taught myself as a child. And then there was another boxer there another middleweight boxer by the name of Stephen Johnson.
Okay.
And like he passed away unfortunately years ago,
Okay.
but he actually saw my passion for jump rope. And when he had time, he took me in and he kind of taught me a few little tricks and things like that. And I actually have a trick that I'm dedicated to him. So that's kind of like my early forward in my adulthood. It was just kind of like a staple that stuck with me. I just used to do it in any workout. So if I ran, I then jump, or if I lifted weights, I would jump. I just kind of incorporated it into everything. And then a lot of people were interested in it. And,
Okay.
I spent my early years like in my 20s and 30s, like volunteering at different camps and
Okay.
events, different things like that. And it opened my eyes that I was really, really impacting people.
I
Not
got
only
you.
did I see it on TV, like Dr. Oz called me, and it's just like, wow, okay, this
Wow.
is like,
Dr.
I really
Oz.
have something going on. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So like, yeah, 2014 was an amazing year. And that's kind
Okay.
of what opened my eyes to like, oh, okay, you can now use this to like motivate other people.
Right. 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 That's amazing. So congratulations. So what was it like getting that phone call? Did you believe it at first, or was it an email, or how did that whole situation come
Yeah.
about?
So what happened is on Facebook Messenger, I received a message because at the time there, and it wasn't for jump rope at that time. So I'll just go back to how I manifested it in the first place.
Go ahead.
So I used to be a member of 24 Hour Fitness,
Okay.
and in 2000, about 13ish or so, I used to like dance on the treadmill all the time. So like all of my workouts, like I know you see the jump rope, it's all music. Like everything is
Okay.
ran by music. So on the
Okay.
treadmill, I used to just get on and dance and do all kind of craziness.
Yeah.
And there was this one particular song that I was doing salsa to, like I would do like the merengue, and I used to just kind of post those videos on YouTube, and they were raw. Like I wasn't
I
into
got you.
editing, copying,
I got
cropping,
you. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at the time, there was this treadmill craze going on, and you may or may not have seen it, but there was a black guy on a treadmill in a blue tank top with his arms out, and he's spinning around the treadmill.
Uh-huh.
So they inboxed me and they're like, "Hey, can we show your video on YouTube because there's this craze going on?" And then I said, "Of course." And then when they noticed I was in New York, they said, "Oh, matter of fact, come to the studio." So that's
Wow.
kind of how I ended up
Yeah.
on the Oz show.
Oh, wow. 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 So you
I was
mentioned,
dancing on the treadmill.
I got you. I got you. As they say, you know what? Everything, every great story starts somewhere. What was some of the music that motivated you, far as just like on the treadmill? What was like a typical songs that was in your playlist? You can just be as random as you want.
Yeah, I started off with well, it wasn't Vivi Mi Vida at that time, but as time went on, it was that. And there was this I used to do like some songs by Black Eyed Peas. There's a song by Macklemore. So I used to have Wings. There's a song called Wings. So there were like different songs that I would do certain things on certain parts of the music. Kind of how I run the jump rope workouts in a sense.
Okay.
So music is a very, very huge part of my workout because it just gives me energy that it's just, I don't know, it just gives me this like raw energy.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Is there any particular genre of music that you prefer more than others, or a genre of music that gets you more amped up more than normal, like your go-to? What's any far as
Um,
genre of
I would
music that you figure out?
I would say I basically almost jump to anything as long as it
I
has
got you.
like a beat, a consistent beat with energy. But I would
Uh-huh.
say my go-tos, gospel music,
Okay.
merengue. Oh my gosh, merengue is really good. I would say hip hop, Jersey Club is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Anything that's kind of fast and consistent, it has a beat to it.
I got you. I got you. Now you mentioned your teachers who a couple boxing coaches or a couple boxers who took you in and coached you and showed you literally the ropes as far as jump ropes. And you mentioned something earlier I hadn't heard about, different types of ropes. Can you go into depth about just explaining what that is? Because I don't know. I think I've had like 2 jump ropes, and I think the latest one that I do have is a speed rope. But kind of with that being said, I'm like, I didn't know there were different types. So what are the different types that you learned?
Okay, so we have the PVC cord, which is like a basic, I would call it like a plastic cord, but a
Yeah, yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
thick. We have PVC, that's usually considered a speed rope. We have the wire ropes that you'll see most people use in CrossFit, and they're very, very thin, which is usually supposed to be good for speed and double unders. They have the leather ropes that boxers used to use back in the days. They have the beaded rope, which as for beginning for like rhythm and coordination and timing and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And then they have weighted ropes, which you use basically, I call that like the fitness rope when you're trying to like, using jump rope for fitness.
Okay, okay, okay. And which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer?
The two that I prefer are the PVCs, which you'll see me jumping in every single one of my
Yeah.
videos,
Uh-huh.
and the weighted rope, which I use when I call it like my real jump rope workout.
Okay, now when you say weighted rope, took me back to when I had a weighted jump rope. My weighted jump rope had the weights in the handles. Are those what you're talking about, or the actual
No,
rope?
no,
Okay,
no.
okay. So what is that? So what is that? Then what is that?
Right.
I need
So
clarification for that.
yeah, there's a company called Cross Rope, and they have ropes where they have like 1/2 pound, 1/4 pound, 1 pound, 2 pound. I think they go all the way up to 5 or 6 or 7 pounds, and the whole length of the rope is weighted. So
Got you,
the
got you.
handles have a little weight to it, but it usually matches the cord. So like the whole length of the rope is weighted. So when you have the rope with the weights, what happens is it messes up your rhythm and timing because you have heavy weights in the handle, but then the cord is very thin.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
so now
Okay,
you're
okay,
kind of
okay.
working hard. And I tell people they might as well just pick up 2 dumbbells and just go like this with
That
their
does
arms.
make sense. That
So,
does
yep.
make sense. Yeah,
I
that
would
that
say
does make sense.
the heavy rope that I do prefer is the
Okay.
whole length of the rope is weighted.
Got you, got you. And now that you say that, I do remember seeing some of those in the gym, but they were like super extra thick. They were probably about as thick as my hand. I'm like, that thing looks, big. And I'm like, oh, but the weighted ones that I had, my thing was the one that I had in the handle.
Right.
Sometimes I would lose it. Sometimes it was like, after a while, just depending, like you see different brands and quality of brands. I'm sure you've gone through a million of them one way or another. Uh, Sometimes they would just flop out at the bottom. You know what I mean? Or then I could probably like take them out. I'm like, I don't feel like the weighted. And then you would notice a difference. You would notice a difference from like just like your wrist. You know what I'm saying? When you had the weight in, and then when you didn't have the weight out. And what you said about, okay, you got weight on your hands and your wrist, but the overall rope has no weight on it, so it does throw
Right.
you off. And I always wonder, just what I just said. It's like, why am I taking this out if the benefit is, I'm thinking as far as, I'm saying, weighted to give you that extra, that extra umph, into it. So you told me about which ones that you prefer. Which ones do you recommend for your clients or anybody who's getting started jumping?
I usually suggest any rope that one could get their hands on to
Okay.
get started with that. And like as you go, you kind of pick one that you prefer. So I could easily tell someone to do a PVC, but then you could always tell somebody to get a beaded rope. So it really, I think, depends on comfort level. And once you're able to master just the basic skills of jumping, you can kind of like pick up any rope and do what you need to do. So I would just say whatever rope you can get your hand on, and as you learn the skills and the basics, then I would suggest whatever rope is comfortable to you, and it really depends on your goals as well
I
with the
got you.
ropes.
I got you. So when you, I guess, start teaching a class, how did that come about? When you, like you had mentioned it earlier, but like when did you, I guess, okay, when, you were taught, right? You, some people took you under their wing. When did you know it was time to start taking people under yours? What was that first experience like?
Like I said, back in I believe 2012, I used to do a lot of volunteering. So
Right, right,
I
right.
used to run with this calisthenics group, and I used to go in and like we would go to different shows and just I would jump. Like they would do like a lot of calisthenics, and I was kind of like the person that came in with the cardio. And
Mm-hmm.
then people started seeing me online and asking me to volunteer at different camps for the summer or volunteering at different events. So I kind of got a lot of exposure through that. And
Right.
then in 2014, I decided to go get a punk rope certification.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's a jump rope class that infuses like a lot of calisthenics and other exercises, but
Really?
it's
Okay.
more like a playground game. And
Okay.
then in I believe 2016, I developed the Jump to Burn class, which
Okay.
I teach now.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
class is
Awesome.
like based on several things, and like my philosophy of jump rope, and then
Okay.
the things we can do.
Okay. So with that being said, it's what is your philosophy on jump rope? What is that?
I believe that jump rope number one should be fun.
Okay.
And also too, like I jump to music. So everything that I do is rhythmic. And then also I believe that there's a lot of fundamentals that people should have before they really kind of get into jump rope. What I noticed, because I have been online for a very, very, very long time, what I noticed is that people they see the jump rope online and they see like these really cool tricks and they
Mm-hmm.
aspire to do that. But then they either don't know the proper form, they can't even hold down the basics. They're just trying too much too soon. Then they're complaining about knee pain and complaining
Yeah.
about shins and things
Yeah.
like that. But it's like if you learn, you cannot skip the fundamentals.
Right.
So each thing plays a certain part. So I have like a structure to where we go from the basics, we get some footwork, we learn different things that you're going to need to master crisscrosses and double unders and all of the things that you do want to learn.
I got you. I got you. Now, when you talk about the fundamentals, what are some of your top? Say, I just give a number three. What are top three fundamentals? Either you're teaching or want to teach somebody like to before you go to step two. These fundamentals in step one, we need to make sure we have covered. What are those?
Well, these are really before you start jumping, but I want to make sure
Yeah.
your rope is sized properly. I want
Okay.
to make sure
Yep.
you have the proper footwear. I want to make
Okay.
sure you're jumping on the right surface. So safety first, and then the skills.
Okay, so when it comes down to your footwear, what type of footwear would you recommend?
I would recommend a flat shoe,
Hmm.
but one that has cushion. So anything that's going to absorb shock. So I would suggest a cross trainer or a running shoe. And
Okay.
like I said, for each person is different depending on your arc, if you're flat footed, if you're wide foot. And typically I would suggest the person go to a foot store to have their feet analyzed to see what shoe will work
Gotcha.
best for them in given activities. But like I said, a flat shoe with cushion.
I got you. I got you. And the reason why I asked that is because I noticed one time when I was jump roping, probably about 6 months ago, and I just never could get my rhythm in this certain shoe. And sometimes I would not plan to jump rope that day. It was just go to the gym, and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like jump roping. And then I realized I had these certain shoes on. I think there were some Air Maxes, and they're a little heavy, right? And I just
Right.
couldn't. I just couldn't. You know what I mean? And for those who jump rope, especially you, it's what that means. It's like I just couldn't. I couldn't get my footing down. I couldn't get my timing down. But then I got some basketball shoes. They're I think one of Kyrie Irving's latest shoes or whatever. Maybe they're probably about a year old or whatever. And they're so flat, right? And I didn't like wearing those shoes because when I would go outside and it would be wet outside,
Right.
driving, my foot would slip. And I'm like, no, I didn't like that. But those are some great shoes to jump rope in. And then I realized I'm like, okay, everything just needs its own shoe one way or another, and
Right.
especially jump roping. And then once I start wearing those shoes, I can just like my timing got back because I have my phases when I'm jump roping and
Right.
then when I'm not. And then it takes a couple of days to kind of get my rhythm back. And it's like, okay, make sure I have the shoes. But once you get that rhythm, you got it, right? You
Right.
got it. You got it. What what's like the average, like, well, not average for beginners, because I want to focus more on beginners for people who,
Right.
are looking forward to, as far as jump roping and implementing jump roping into their fitness routine. What do you recommend, far as to start off with, far as time wise, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes? Do you recommend intervals? What is your professional advice for those getting started or wanting to get started as far as jump roping? What would you recommend?
I usually recommend sets of 100. So as you start, I would suggest maybe 5 sets of 100, for the
Okay.
first couple of weeks. And then you could move on to 10 sets of 100. And if like a set of 100 is hard, I would say break that down to 10 sets of 10 or 2 sets of 50 or 4 sets of 25. And the reason why I say 100 is because 100 jumps, if you're jumping at like an average pace, you should be able to complete that in no less than 45 or no longer than 45 seconds. And this is kind of why I don't jump for time, because when you're doing any exercise for time, you're so worried about that time, you get
True.
tired and unmotivated and you
True.
stop.
True.
So this is why I use the count method, because like even when I do my own workouts, when I'm doing like my weighted rope workouts and my workouts for my jump rope for workout, I do 10 sets of 10. And I know that that could get done within 10 minutes of time, because each set is only taking me 30 to 35 seconds. And then the break in between to catch my breath is usually maybe 30 seconds. Maybe it take longer as my sets increase, but I always suggest doing the sets of 100. Number one, because it takes less time. Number two, if you cannot do sets of 100 without huffing and puffing, how are you going to move on to footwork, or how are you going to move on to tricks? So I always say that one should master sets of 100, at least 10 sets of 100 before moving on to other things.
10 sets of 100. That sounds intimidating to me. To me, but it's not to say it's discouraging anybody else, because I understand what that is, because I have two different jump rope routines, right? I have one, let's say if I'm doing intervals, right? 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, got a timer in my ear. But then those ones where I have done those 10 sets of 100. I've done those, and those are challenging, but we should all aspire to challenge ourselves. Sometimes we hear numbers or see people doing something and we can easily get discouraged, but get encouraged, get motivated, get inspired, because you just saw somebody do it, and this person has been doing it for a while, and they've been doing it longer than you, especially if you are just new to it. Those are just facts. You know what I mean? Those are
Right.
just plain just facts. But the simple fact that it can get done, if you can't, get to 100, like you said, just break it down. Like you said, 10 sets of
Mhm.
10. And that's what I was doing when I had the wrong shoes on, and I'm like, man, I can't get to 100. It's like, okay, let me just calm down. Let me get to at least, 50. Let's see if I can get 50 continuous without my leg tiring out or my calf burning out. And just even with that just being said, you mentioned about not jumping on concrete. What
Right.
surfaces do you recommend to jump on?
I recommend rubber
Yeah.
or springy wood floors,
Okay.
because
Okay.
they both absorb shock.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like gym floors, where
Mhm.
they're back like basketball court. Those were good too. Um, and like you
If you
said,
have
those
a
springy
track and
floors.
field that you have access to,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. 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 And that concrete on the knees is not
Not
good.
good at all.
Not good at all. My younger years when I would play basketball, we would play basketball a lot outside, on concrete. And then after a while, it's like, hey, I can't play today.
Right.
Stuff starts getting to your knees. Stuff starts getting to your knees. And so, with your jump rope and workout routine and regimen, what do you recommend far as like a stretch routine? Do you have a stretch routine prior, like a pre-stretch, pre-workout routine far as for jump roping? Is there anything that you recommend in that regards?
Yes. So for jumping rope, I suggest doing like a warm up as opposed to a
Okay.
stretch.
Okay.
So I do like a lot of boxing moves, some jabs, some uppercuts, some hooks, some like knee raise, so like some knee to chest, things. So like kind of like warming up your body and getting it ready to jump. And then
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of the stretching after the jump rope routine.
Okay. 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 So, being that, like you said, you don't go for time, and if you are going for, let's say 10 sets of 10, or once you advance 10 sets of 100, do you recommend doing that before, let's say you hit the weights, or is this post workout, post weights? What do you recommend if for those who are still want to have weights in their routine, versus just solely just having far as just the jump rope? And when do you recommend implementing the jump rope, before weights or after weights?
The jump rope workout really depends on what your goals are for that day. So if you're going to do a weight workout, I would suggest maybe using the jump rope as a warm up. Or if
Okay.
you're kind of the type of a set circuits person, do like 100 jumps in between your sets. So like I guess 3 weightlifting exercises, 100 jumps. So use like the jump rope as the active rest, or you could do the jump rope workout completely after your weight set. So it really
I
depends
got you.
on what your goal is for the day and how you can incorporate it. But if it's like a straight on cardio day, you do those 10 sets of 100.
I got you. I got you. Um, Another question that, well, more of a kind of comment in regards to like music, and nowadays we have so much unwired equipment, right? Far as from headphones, right? We talk about music and keeping the rhythm in. How did you adjust to or deal with, at the time before Bluetooth, right? Because you've been doing it for a while, right? How did you jump rope with like your phone being wired to something? Was it, or did you just completely I just got a speaker and I'm jump roping to that? How did you deal with, okay, I'm jump roping and now, this right now, how that got in? How did you adjust to that? How did that work out for you?
Oh, well, I used to have the jump rope like tucked and in my shirt, and I would have the
Gotcha.
headphones in my ears. That's what I used
I
to do.
got you. I got you. Yeah, because I'm just now like these headphones, they can just come off and they're Bluetooth and they're wireless. But when I was jump roping a lot, that would be one of the most irritating things, to have that cord, get in the way, and especially
Right,
when you're on a rhythm, right? And it's like, okay, I
right.
made it to 150, right? I made it to 150. I'm going for 175. Made it to 175. Now my goal is 100, and then boom, you got the wire that's in there. Now your jump rope program, that you're helping people implement jump roping into their fitness routine, what is that called again?
The class is called Jump to Burn.
Jump to Burn, right? And you started that, you
Yeah.
said, in 2016, right?
Actually, probably around 2016, but like I said, I've been teaching since 2014.
Okay. So about 2014 to what is, might as well go ahead and say 2023 by the time this publishes, right?
Right.
And so you obviously have experience, obviously know what you're talking about. So with that being said, how can one um, have you be their teacher? How can one sign up, and what all do they get? Or you do, is it strictly one-on-one or in person, or is it virtual? How does that work?
Right now, I'm teaching in-person classes. I teach
Okay.
every 2 weeks in New York City, and then I also teach one-on-ones for those that register for it. So I can do that online or in person. And in 2023, I plan to certify instructors in the class so that it could be available in other states.
Okay. So it's strictly pretty much from, when you say as far as other states, to where you can travel to other states and do it, or is
Well,
it
I
just
mean,
from?
for people that's interested in teaching jump rope, and if they want to teach
Gotcha.
my specific class, then they can teach it. Because I always get online, they're like, hey, is this class available here or there? And it's like, no, because like I'm the head teacher. So this year I want to, or next year I want to expand and have other people teach the class.
Okay. Cool. So how do you deal with the winter time with jump roping? Are you still going to actual gym to teach classes, or is it strictly just online right now?
I'm not, I still go to the studio. I still have students that come out, all weather to come take
Okay,
the
that's
class.
good. That's good. How did the lockdown, how did that affect, you, and how did that affect your business and your ability or inability to teach during the initial COVID lockdowns in 2020?
I basically stopped teaching because,
Okay.
of course, we couldn't go into the studio. But I will say that the jump rope sales were crazy. So people were really looking for something new to do. And, a lot of people were starting to get heavy ropes. A lot of people were starting to get like my ropes that I have. So I
Okay.
spent a lot of time educating people on like how to do it properly.
Good. 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 And you just mentioned that was going to be my next follow-up question. You have your own line of ropes too?
Yes, I do.
Good. 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 And where can people get those at?
Oh, they could get them off my website, www.makeitfunnyc.com.
Okay. Make it fun. NYC.com.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, Tell everybody where they can reach you at via Instagram, like your website, YouTube, whatever.
Yes, everybody can reach me at www.makeitfunnyc.com. You can reach me on Instagram and Twitter at makeitfunnyc.com, Facebook at makeitfunnyc, and YouTube is at BERNAPRIL20.
If you found inspiration in today's podcast with Bernadette Henry and would like to support, then please sign up to my weekly newsletter, the Success Fitness Newsletter, to get 10% off my new Eat Cookbook, What's a Meal Prep for Beginners. When you click the link in my show notes, it includes 3 recipes for one high protein meal under 600 calories, step-by-step written and visual instructions, and also a free workout ebook. And remember, the link is in the show notes. And this brings us to the end of another episode of the Success Fitness Podcast. Thank you for listening. And remember, if any situation is not making you stronger, simply chant more weight, more weight, more weight. Hashtag more weight. Peace out.